Hey everyone. Before we get started with today's episode, we just want to acknowledge that this has been a year since we started this podcast.
December
And
13th.
yeah, it's been a fun year. This just started out as us just wanting to just do something fun, just to pass the time because we both love music. And since then, we've met some great people that have helped us basically get this, podcast going essentially. And, throughout the year, it's been great. Like I mentioned, we've met some great people, and over the year we've changed. We didn't think that this podcast would be nearing like over nearly 100 subs at this stage, and it's kind of jarring in a sense. But
Yeah.
we didn't even, well, personally, I think that I didn't even know that the podcast would have changed like up this much. Like we're even doing an award show soon, for fuck's sake,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to do that. And we just wanted to say thanks so much for supporting us throughout the year, and we hope to continue this on for many more years, and just keep talking about music, doing what we love.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
And-
it's been crazy. Like, even, like, at the show, like, at the start of the year is pretty much unrecognizable from what we do now. But, I mean, the idea behind it and the motivation behind it is still the same. We both listen to a lot of music. We both love listening to music. It's what we do regardless, and, this is a cool outlet where we can, like, share it with each other and even with some other people, from across the world, really, which is bizarre to say, is
Yeah,
just kind of started as us two and some friends just thinking of something we could do to pass the time. But yeah,
Yeah,
think
like
you nailed that.
like if you asked me last year that we'd be like getting people on this podcast that were from like all across the globe, I would have been a bit skeptical, because like it's gone as far from America to fucking New Zealand even, and it's insane. And we've met some incredibly awesome people throughout this duration as well. We've had plenty of them on, and we can't wait to have plenty more awesome people on. And we're still going strong. We still have huge plans, and more than just a podcast. We're trying to expand as the cassette tape as well.
yeah, because the podcast was supposed to be just one of the many things, but it has become kind of the main thing. But we obviously want to do more stuff, not only just here, but also on our personal channels. But the shared channel, I think there's a lot more potential to it, and a lot more we can do with it.
Yeah,
And you know what? Not even having people across the world, just the fact that there's anyone who just even wants to be on this is just great. Because I didn't imagine people would be asking us to appear on a podcast when we first started. I didn't imagine that anyone would be interested in it, but it's fun to see that everyone wants to get involved and wants to. They may not see it as helping out, but it does help us out when they
it really does.
ask to be on an episode or appear. Yeah, I'm very grateful.
I am grateful too. It's been amazing. I've always wanted to make some form of content ever since I was young, and this is it. This is it. I'm living the dream right now.
The dream, baby.
And yeah, I guess with that being said, just thank you so much for sticking around with us if you have, and just thanks for building a community with us, and we can't wait to make more content for you.
Hell yeah.
And with that being said, we'll just move on to the episode. Welcome back to the Taped Podcast, the jolliest podcast in the world. We are your hosts, as always, myself, MickyT,
And me, nostalgia.
And me,
and
David.
and David is back. Woo!
You know what day it is today? Tell them what day it is. Oh no, they know already. We did the intro.
It's Christmas morning.
It's Christmas morning.
Yeah.
No.
But in all seriousness, you've already seen the intro. It's been a year since we started the podcast, and we've decided to do a little bit of a reunion, minus Louis, because he's a Grinch.
Yeah, he hates fucking Christmas. I asked him to be on this episode, and he says he will not participate in any form of capitalism. So,
I mean,
yeah, he
that's
doesn't
fair.
listen to Christmas music.
I mean, all power to him.
That's not actually what he said. I'm putting words in his mouth, but he just hates Christmas. That's what he actually said. His words, not mine.
Fair enough, anyway. But with that in mind, we are going to be we're going to be picking songs, Christmas songs specifically. We're going to be talking about some of the best Christmas songs. We've chosen 5 for this one. And 3 bad Christmas songs. Songs that we really don't like from Christmas. Because, Christmas, it's a gimmicky holiday. Has its fair share of just gimmicky tracks. Yeah. So we just want to highlight ones that we think are bad in particular. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I could have chosen, but I've narrowed it down to the ones I despise the most.
To be fair, I think picking best ones was a little bit harder than picking worst ones. There are a few more that I like, especially when it comes to some of the more jazzy standards.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but that being said, picking 3 worst was also fairly easy, so...
Yeah.
So we're going to do our 3 worst first, right?
Yeah, we'll do the worst ones first. We'll get those out of the way.
Okay.
Alright, so...
Yeah, you, me,
we'll do the... Yeah. Alright, so... For my third pick, the third worst Christmas song in my opinion, I chose Litmus by Jake Paul.
I chose Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney.
And I chose All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth.
I've never heard of that one.
I only heard of it after you put it in the doc.
It's kind of a joke song, but I...
Anyway, speaking of a song that I hate so much, yeah, the internet's favourite dude bro cunt made an awful Christmas song, unsurprisingly. And say what you will about the man, but he knows how to market and sell his crap merch to his 8-year-old audience, and, he knows how to time it right, especially with Christmas, because it's a perfect opportunity for people like him to do such marketing. On top of that, he made, the Christmas-themed EP, and this song was, a lead single or whatever, and... Yeah, it's about as bad as you'd expect, a YouTuber music to be, but, in Christmas format. It's, genuinely one of the worst, Christmas songs I've ever heard. Everything about this song is so bad, from the instrumental, to the rapping, to the vocals, to the hook, which is unforgivably intolerable. The beat is just a shitty, trap instrumental with trashy horns and bells because Crimbo. And Jake Paul just sounds so out of place on here. And for some reason, Slim Jimmy from Ray Shremmerd is on the song. He must have gotten a fat paycheck for that one. I'm not even kidding. Yeah. The other half of Ray Shremmerd is on the song. And he was the best part of the song, if we're being real here. The opening cringy skit is bad enough already, and it's not even the worst part of the song. The hook is the worst part. The hook isn't even the worst part. The third verse is probably the worst thing about it, and... Allow me to recite some top-tier lyricism from a mind like Jake Paul could conjure up. Christmas is lit. Christmas be the shit. Christmas make me want to post family pics. My parents are divorced. I made 2 Christmases. It's just so they know I'm not to get the same shit.
Wow. That one's tricky. Yeah. That was deep.
That was very deep.
I so honestly did not expect that turn.
Literally, it's literally the third verse in the song and everything. So yeah, all in all, good marketing and Jake Paul bad.
I chose Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, which is quite a big Christmas song. This is one of the quote-unquote, go-to Christmas songs. And I completely don't understand why. This is just one of the strangest, most just confusing and poorly written tracks I've heard, especially when it comes to Christmas music. Not only is it really poorly written and just arranged, it's also just weirdly fucking unsettling. The synth work is just so off kilter that it almost makes me feel uncomfortable anytime I hear it. The tone in which Paul McCartney delivers the chorus just sounds really creepy and just it's just a weird track. I don't understand why anyone associates this with the things you usually associate Christmas with. It just is a the tone of it, the delivery, it all just feels unsettling to me. It doesn't feel jolly or Christmassy at all. It's an absolute abomination of a track.
We'll be having a wonderful Christmas time.
It's so creepy, like.
It is.
I think we all have it like climbing in our worst list. As we go.
Yeah, me too.
Indeed.
Yeah, I chose All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth by, hold on, what is his name? Spike Jones and his City Slickers. But there's loads of different versions of it. Like, I think the one I knew originally was the Chipmunks, which was even worse. But I know it's like, it probably shouldn't be on the list because it's nearly a joke song. But it gives me like bad goosebumps every time I hear it. He starts with this, it's like almost a skit, and then he's got this kid singing the whole time with a weird whistle in his voice because he's missing his front teeth, and it just makes me angry for some reason. But I've never been able to listen to it fully.
I need to listen to the song and see if it's actually as bad as you're saying.
Listen to the Chipmunks version as well, just to get the whole experience.
Oh boy!
This will play that during Christmas.
That's all his teeth he's missing.
When we're all gathered around the table, I am playing that at Christmas. So yeah, we move on to our number 2. I have chosen, surprise, surprise, Wonderful Christmas Time, Paul McCartney.
I chose Tyler, the Creator, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
And I chose Carly Rae Jepsen's It's Not Christmas Till Somebody Cries.
That's a recent one.
Yeah, I didn't realize I recently into it.
I haven't listened to a whole lot of Carly Rae Jepsen, actually. I need to change that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, Wonderful Christmas Time, already has a reputation of like being one of the biggest Christmas songs, and a somewhat despised one, as Fantano has labelled out. And it was one of those songs where it took me a little bit to realise that it sucks. Like, beforehand, I didn't really acknowledge it was bad. I just didn't really care for it. Until Fantano told me. Nah, but after like a few years of like never listening to it since, and I listened to it again with a better musical perspective, and yeah, it's not good at all. In fact, it's got to be one of like the worst sounding Christmas songs ever. Like, this track is heavily based on like that synth that's present throughout the whole track, and that synth is just awful sounding. It sounds awful, and like, it's honestly one of the worst synth sounds I've ever heard in a song ever. It's just that ugly, and I can't even describe what it sounds like because it's that shit. Plus, like, that little kick drum in the instrumental is just like so quiet that you could barely hear it. And when you finally hear it, you can't unhear it unless you're listening to it on some shit speakers. It's just a lazy attempt at labeling it a Christmas song as well, just by throwing the bells in and the lyrics. Plus, the writing is just tragic. Paul's vocals just sound crap on here too. It's like so like what Mihao said. It just sounds creepy. It's like one of the worst vocal lines on a Christmas song I've ever heard, especially when it gets to like the chorus. It's like the most uncatchy thing in a Christmas song. Plus, that hook just appears 7 times throughout the song. It's shit enough already. It doesn't need to be heard more than once. I guess the only silver lining about this is that this is a bonus track on the same album that has Temporary Secretary on it. So that's something. Temporary Secretary is another story. Holy shit.
I chose Tyler, the Creator, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. We all actually chose generally good artists for our number 2 spots.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole like Dr. Seuss EP from Tyler, I don't think it was awful, but it just feels like a weird fever dream. It doesn't feel like something that actually happened. And a lot of the time it's a fun little thing. It's kind of harmless, but this track in particular is just so awkwardly convoluted and like weirdly paced. I don't think the arrangements really fit in with Tyler's style all that much. The whole track just feels like a complete mess to me. There are like decent tracks on that project. There are fun tracks on that project, but this one in particular I think stands out as just a mess and a poorly executed one at that.
I think that like
kind of a fan of it.
I think that whole like
yeah, I don't know.
That's
All
fair.
those wee Christmassy ones are kind of cool.
I
I
guess.
think
Different.
I think those were also used for that like really bad like the Grinch like animated
Yeah.
remake.
Dude,
From,
I
like-
watched it. It's not that bad.
It was on the other day. I had to watch it with my nephew. I couldn't stand it.
It made me happy.
It made me a
That's all that
Grinch.
matters. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'll give it this. It doesn't seem like a complete like commercial money grab. It just
Yeah.
it kind of seems like something Tyler would do for fun.
He genuinely loves stuff.
Yeah, so I'll give it that. I just really don't like this song in particular.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. Yeah, I chose Carly Rae Jepsen's "It's Not Christmas" so somebody cries, and it's not like a terrible like musically as we were saying about Paul McCartney's song, but throughout it there's like a strange, almost synthy bass that's just really off-putting for me that I didn't enjoy. And then for lyrics, it kind of just seems like lazy writing. She's talking about her vegan boyfriend who's trying to be served meat or something, and her weird uncle who's talking politics. And it's just, I was kind of like rolling my eyes as I was listening to it. Although there is one line about like hiding gummies from her grandpa, but he found them anyway, which is just fucking so random and kind of funny. So that made me laugh at least. But other than that, yeah, it just seems like another kind of commercial Christmas cash grab.
Yeah. And yeah, we're on to our number one picks. What we think are the worst Christmas songs in our opinions. And I said Santa Baby, but not just any version of Santa Baby, not the original, but the Madonna version.
I chose Train, Shake Up Christmas.
Oh, not Train.
And for the third time, I chose Wonderful Christmas by Paul McCartney.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, in my opinion, Santa Baby is the worst Christmas song of all time. And, you know, not just the original version, but the cover version from Madonna. And I never liked the original song anyway, mostly because it just seems like one of the gimmickiest Christmas songs ever, which is saying something. And, you know, that song is just annoying vocally, in my opinion. But the Madonna version, it just takes it to a whole new level of annoying, because she somehow makes the song even more annoying than it already was, because Madonna just makes the vocals even more annoying because of how terrible they are. Like, the baby voice thing was bad enough, and Madonna had to really reach out there and make it sound even worse. Plus, like, it's just an absolute fucking it's migraine fuel. It's even longer than it actually was because the jazz like instrumental is just so trite and so boring. Combine that with like the excruciating Madonna performance, we get just an absolute slog and a train wreck of a song that I never want to listen to again.
Yeah, I chose Shake Up Christmas by Train, which is perhaps the most forced Christmas song I've ever heard in my life. You know, Train clearly had a bit of an ego after getting incredibly big off a few completely unbearable songs, and felt like they had what it takes to make the next big Christmas song. And unfortunately, they did kind of succeed in that. This song is pretty big. It's played in advertisements all over the place. It's hard to escape sometimes, and it's so fucking laughably awful that it just blows my mind that anyone like genuinely can listen to this song and not like feel uncomfortable by the sheer cringe that is in some of these lyrics. I'll read out some of the lyrics. I'll do them in a serious voice. There's a story that I was told, and I want to tell the world before I get too old, and don't remember it. So let's December it and reassemble it. Oh yeah. Once upon a time in a town like this, a little girl made a great big wish to fill the world full of happiness and be on Santa's magic list. It reads like something from a fucking nursery like book. I don't know how, like, and the worst part is this song got so big that Train made a whole Christmas album like 2 years later. A whole Christmas album with 15 tracks. I am never listening to that in my fucking life. That sounds like hell on earth.
You gotta
It literally does. Like Train is shit enough already as it is, but like more Christmas themed songs from him, just no. That's just not. That's not okay.
It's awful. It's a crime against humanity.
Literally is. He should be arrested.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
I've never actually listened to that, and I don't think I'm gonna.
You probably know it from like 30 different ads.
I've heard 3 train songs, and none of them are that.
Oh well, you listen to that after. Hey, so sister.
No. Nah, my mum unironically loves that song. I hate it so much.
Oh, yeah, so does my brother.
What?
Constantly play it.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ.
God has left this household.
During December. So I chose Paul McCartney's "Wonderful Christmas" for my top worst song, I guess. And like, I think the reason it ranks so highly on my list is I'd only ever heard like bits of it in like stores and stuff, and then I actually sat down and listened to the whole thing when we were gonna make this, and it just like blew me away. It's so eerie with the synth at the start. I was like, oh, this isn't too bad, and then it just keeps going, and then just like you said loads already, that I don't really have much to add, except that at the end there's like the most random, really short, kind of probably improvised guitar solo that just like doesn't fit at all, and then straight after that there's like a snare solo, and it's just someone whacks on a snare a few times, and then it's over, and it's gone. It's like never reproduced. It's so strange. It kind of just made me sad how popular that song is. And then the video as well. I watched that for the first time recently.
Yeah, no, the video.
And it's just
quite
cool.
Yeah,
It looks like he's locked them all in this cabin and he's making them record this video. It's terrifying.
Paul and Linda just had to do it. They had to gather up all the local villagers and
I
lock
love
them
how
in the
the
pub.
like general consensus is that the song is just fucking creepy. I love how that's not just me.
And like, I like how it still gets played either way because people don't know how creepy it is.
It's because everyone just recognizes that chorus, which is like so benign and fucking stupid, but it just gets drilled into your head because it's so simple.
And I think it's also because Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, if he wasn't a Beatle, it wouldn't be that popular.
John already made a Christmas song, Paul had to as well.
Yeah, one's better than the other.
And actually, that's a good segue because we're moving on to our best ones.
Hell
and
yeah.
my number 5 pick is Happy Xmas, War is Over. I was about to say Paul McCartney. No, John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
My number 5 pick is a very recent one. It's only like 2 weeks old, but I chose Phoebe Bridgers' Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Damn, that's not even 2 weeks old. You're right, Puck.
I chose Brenda Lee's "Rocket Around the Christmas Tree." Classic.
That was a track that
Classic.
I had to just about cut out from my top 5.
yeah.
I love that track.
Yeah, that track is fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, John Lennon and Yoko Ono's iconic Christmas song is definitely a contender for like being one of the best Christmas songs, and you know, it's all for the simple reason it's just a good song at the end of the day. You know what John and Yoko do on this track is quite grand in its presentation, especially when it gets to the chorus, you know, with the bells. You know, Yoko's vocals are great on this as well, which work well with like that choir that accompanies them, and John sounds great on here too, and you know, the writing on here is incredibly catchy, and it's performed with passion on here, and you know, it makes this song all the more heavenly, you know. Plus, it's even like it's easily one of the most memorable like songs to sing along to on Christmas too, especially at that chorus. Like, you know, wouldn't mind just joining in at the Christmas carols just for that. Plus, you know, I have fond memories of the song because, you know, because of one Christmas in particular when I was really young, so that definitely breaks onto the list because of that. All in all, good Beatles Christmas song.
I chose a song off Phoebe Bridgers' new Christmas EP. Her rendition of a standard, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And the main reason I include it is I really love this track, and I really like how she, you know, spins a well-known standard into like her own style and turns what is, you know, a lighthearted little Christmas song into one that is a lot more depressing and poignant and bleak, and just using the instrumentation and her delivery alone, It's really I love the performance on here. I love the composition on the instrumentation. I think it still is it's very much Phoebe Bridgers, but it still very much retains that kind of Christmas aesthetic. As does the whole EP. The whole EP actually was very enjoyable. And yeah, I felt like it deserves a nod because I've been listening to it quite a bit over the last few weeks.
Nah, it deserves a nod because you're a Phoebe Bridgers stan.
I am no shame in that. I am the world's biggest Phoebe Bridgers stan.
To be fair, I don't blame you. Phoebe Bridgers is great. I still need to check out that EP.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I chose Brenda Lee's "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree," and this is just like a really classic Christmas song for me. It's one I grew up listening to loads, and then listening back to it, just like the classic guitar licks throughout, with like a really like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a really nostalgic guitar tone they use the whole time. I really like that, the sound of that, and then there's a really nice choir throughout the back, with pretty much the entire song, with a really fucking sick sax solo at some point as well. It's just it's weird. It's my number 5, but I'm already like, I love it so much. It can only go up from here. Yeah, it's just a really good Christmas song. Love it.
Indeed, Reno. It's quite the 50s guitar tone on that track.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but it's cool.
I just describe it as like a 50s diner one, but it's actually still sick.
Mm.
So yeah, we're moving on to our number 4 picks. I chose Father Christmas by The Kinks.
I chose John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Happy Christmas when it's over.
I chose Tyler, the Creator's I Am the Grinch.
Ooh. The Tyler contrast.
Yeah.
So yeah, this song by The Kinks is a unique pick for my ones because despite it, being a Christmas like themed song, it doesn't really celebrate much about the holiday, but rather it's just a sarcastic take on it. It's just a tongue-in-cheek track. Like, the song itself is just a fun, punk-inspired song with a really great sound to it. The riff is fun, the xylophone melody is really nice, the drumming is really good, and all in all, it's just full of energy and just a fun song in general. Ray Davies wrote this song, and in general, the whole thing is just like one subtle like critique of how exploitative that the holiday season is for the middle and low class. The main story, is about how the character is being how the character being described got mugged, and it's all done in like kind of a tongue-in-cheek and a pretty honest way as well. And it's a message I can get behind. Christmas does have its exploits, and it's just a fun song at the end of the day with a good message, and it's one of my favorite Christmas songs because of that.
Back to talking about John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite Christmas songs. It definitely, as you said, has a lot of nostalgia behind it. And overall, it's one of the more complex songs when it comes to the more, the poppy batch of famous Christmas songs. The string arrangements are fantastic. The backing vocals and the choral vocals are great. Lyrically, it's very memorable, very just not lighthearted, very earnest. I don't know. The social and political themes on here, they're not overbearing. They're not clueless like, a certain track that might have been performed by Band Aid, and that might have been performed about 50 million times since then, and just ends up being really narcissistic in its just songwriting and in the whole tradition behind it. It's just
Bob Geldof moment.
Yeah, it's so fucking clueless. That track, if not for the admittedly catchy chorus, would have easily made worse tracks. But back onto this one, I think John sounds incredible. Yoko actually sounds really fucking good on the backing vocals. The whole track comes together great. It's just a blast to listen to.
Cool. I picked Tyler, the Creator's I'm the Grinch, and I was watching the Grinch movie for the first time fairly recently, and then it came on, and it just completely took me by surprise that Tyler, the Creator, was in the Grinch movie, which was really cool. So then I went and actually listened to it, and it's a really cool song. Like, it's got this really interesting percussion throughout the whole time of it, or the whole song. I don't know what I'm saying. It almost sounds like a B-side off of Flower Boy or something. Like, it's from that era of Tyler's discography. It's cool, and I think everything, just all the sounds mesh together really well. He's got like some synth things going on, a piano that like breaks the song up very nicely, and then some strings, and it just all blends together really. And then obviously you've got Tyler, and he's just like a charismatic rapper. He's cool.
Yeah.
Big up Tyler. All right. For my number 3 pick, I chose All Alone on Christmas by Darlene Love.
I chose Last Christmas by Wham.
I chose Looking Under the Tree by Remo Drive.
All right. This song was featured in the Home Alone 2 soundtrack, and, you know, it accompanies this scene where we see Kevin just running around New York doing whatever, and it's honestly, that's honestly one of my favorite scenes from the film because of Darlene Love's song, and to this day it's remained one of my favorite Christmas songs because of that. You know, the pop, soul, and Christmas combination, you know, it's, you know, in general, like, that whole sound is just overdone, but I feel like on this track in particular, it's just done very well. It's a given since this song was backed by the E Street Band, and I love every second of it. The instrumentation is so fun, it's very energetic, and the sax part at the beginning is just chef's kiss moment. Like, I love Darlene Love's performance on this song. Vocally, she does quite well with the instrumental, and I have such a blast listening to this one whenever it's played to this day. You know, I also love how, in contrast with the, you know, the wild, fun, energetic instrumental, you know, the writing is just bittersweet, and it's a nice detail that suits the track well, and it actually suits Home Alone as well, because, you know, Home Alone, All Alone on Christmas, and yeah, that's really it. I just like this song because of it.
Yeah, I chose Last Christmas by Wham, which is a massive, like a behemoth when it comes to Christmas songs. And as cheesy as the songwriting is, it's hard for me to not love this song. A lot of my favorite Christmas songs just give me the same, like, very warm feeling that brings back just very distinctive and nostalgic memories of, you know, past Christmases. And the synths on this track are just the epitome of that. I love George Michael's vocals. I love the production in general, and especially the mixing on the vocals. I think they sound fantastic. They almost have a kind of cold quality to them. It's hard to explain. The vocals sound very wintry, and this whole track is just, you know, do you know what I mean? At least,
yeah. I actually do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it in any better terms, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites, and probably out of the, you know, very, very big Christmas songs that are just renowned worldwide and everyone listens to them. They're in every fucking shopping center, every playlist ever. This is probably the pick of the bunch for me. Sorry, Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
actually, this year, since they've started, like, playing the song again, I've probably heard it about 20 times at this stage.
Yeah, I chose Looking Under the Tree by Remo Drive. And Remo Drive is a band that's gone through a lot of, like, sonic changes throughout their career, but this is an older track by them, and it kind of has that, you know, that, like, youthful energy that Greatest Hits has. It's a really cool track. I don't know if you've heard it, but it starts off with the singer. I don't know if it's actually his Christmas list from a while ago, but it's a kid asking Santa for different stuff on Christmas, and he's just talking about how his dad wouldn't let him watch anime because there's naked girls in it and all this random shit in it. I don't know what the fuck the connection is, but I just think it's funny. And then in the actual song, it's got all this really cool, like, heavy guitars. It's like really Greatest Hitsy guitar tone, which is class. And then they've got a nice, like, sing-along chorus, which is always cool in a Christmas song. And then, like, cool drum breaks throughout, and then a nice wee key change at the end. But it's a really energetic Christmas song, but it's a nice shift away from the more poppy things that you'd normally hear around this time of year. So it's really cool. I like it.
I still need to listen to Greatest Hits, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's only listened to the most recent album, which is such a piss poor like entry album into.
Mihao was just on about how Greatest Hits is basically the band's greatest hits at this stage.
Oh yeah, it's literally, the name is, like, unironically, like, Greatest Hits. Yeah.
So yeah, look, I will definitely listen to Greatest Hits.
And also Looking Under the Tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is one of those
Yes.
moments where I when I seen the doc, I just had I completely forgot this this song existed. I just got a weird flashback I rediscovered some lost artifact or something. Completely forgot this track exists.
He went back into the Twilight Zone.
Mm.
So yeah, moving on to our number 2 picks. I chose Fairy Tale of New York.
I chose Vince Guaraldi Trio, O Tannenbaum, aka O Christmas Tree.
I also chose Fairy Tale New York. But...
Woohoo! Do you want to go first, Michal?
Yeah. Oh, all right, yeah, I'll talk first, actually.
Go on.
Actually, no, I'll talk first next time. You'll see why. I'll talk.
Yeah,
first.
I know why. I know why.
Oh no, actually, no. Let me figure this out. Okay, I'll talk first now, and I'll talk first again next time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I chose Vince Guaraldi Trio, O Tannenbaum, and this is off a Charlie Brown Christmas album, and which is probably one of the best Christmas albums ever made, and one of the greatest pieces of jazz music ever made as well. And one of the best albums of the 60s, in my opinion. It's just such a colourful and sparkly jazz composition that captures the atmosphere and the essence of Christmas and winter in general, just unlike anything else. The arrangements are just mesmerising. The tones of all the instruments are just so like clean and pristine and like comforting. And the whole like album, like any track on that album could have easily made this list, but O Tannenbaum, aka O Christmas Tree, is probably my pick of the bunch. It's just an incredible piece of jazz music.
Yeah, I wanted to steal it and put it on my list, but I figured I should just let you have it. I didn't remember it until I read it off you.
So yeah, I chose Fairy Tale of New York. You know, one of the most iconic Christmas songs ever made, and obviously it's one of the best Christmas songs ever made, if not the best. You know, there just isn't much wrong with this track at all. It just manages to perfectly capture the Christmas spirit well, without being as cliche and as trite as many other Christmas songs can be. You know, lyrically the song doesn't paint the most flattering picture of the holiday season, especially with the juxtaposition between Shane MacGowan and Kirsty MacColl. Like it's like you're listening to like a drunk couple like arguing with each other, like from the point of view of their kid. And not to mention that musically, this track is brilliant. Like, what's so funny about that, huh?
No, it's just very true. I remember listening to this like when I was younger, and that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah, anyways, you know, musically this track is just brilliant. You know, it starts off with like just a lone piano, strings with Shane MacGowan just singing. Even if his vocals aren't the best, there's a charm to them and you can't ignore it.
Yeah,
Then, you know, it gets kicked up a notch with the Celtic folk instrumentation with, you know, Kirsty MacColl's vocals, which blend so well together. Plus the chemistry between the two singers is just brilliant on here. It just makes it one of the most like endearing Christmas songs ever. And it's just a class song in general. Obviously, I would say this is the best Christmas song ever made. But my number one spot is my favorite Christmas song of all time. Hence why it's at number 2 here. It's just an amazing song.
Yeah, I chose the same. I think I had like listening fatigue for this song for a while after like being in secondary school for so long, and it just constantly being played by the boys in Metalwork. But yeah, I've come back to it like in the last year, and it is just exactly what Mick said there. It's just a really good song, nearly perfect Christmas song, especially in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, we're on to our number 1 now. So yeah, mine is Last Christmas by Wham.
Mine is Fairy Tale in New York by the Pogues.
And mine is the aptly named The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole.
But since we're after getting off the topic of Fairy Tale in New York, I'll bring us right back onto Fairy Tale in New York. It's absolutely my favorite Christmas song of all time. It always has been. Most of my like fondest Christmas memories are just completely associated with this song. It's just always been the soundtrack to everything I love about Christmas. It's just a perfect track in my opinion, and you know the memories of Christmas that this conjures up are just a cherry on top. It's just incredibly easy to sing along. Shane McGowan's chemistry with Kirsty MacColl is just really entertaining. The instrumentation is brilliant, and as I mentioned, I actually didn't mention this track in general goes like beyond just the Christmas theme. It's an incredibly well written song, and the Christmas themes are just subtle enough that it isn't as overbearing as a track like Wonderful Christmas Time, for example. It just has that right sweet spot of Christmas magic in it to like not make it overbearing or just cheesy. It's just such an incredible track. And if anyone hasn't listened to If I Should Fall from Grace with God, the album that this track comes off, please do. It's one of the best it's probably the best Celtic punk album of all time. It's got incredible tracks, and this
I
is
need to
just
give
one
that a
of them.
listen.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, I chose Last Christmas by Wham, and yeah, this is my favorite Christmas song ever, and that's mainly because out of all the songs that have been around on Christmas that get played to death, this is the one that I never really got tired of. It's the song that brings me back to some of the happiest Christmases I ever had, and I just love, and there's a charm to this track. It's it's cheesy, but there's a charm to it. Think that the production on this track, it's incredibly 80s, but I just love it. I just think it's great, and it works well with George Michael's vocals, and George Michael vocally is just very good on this one. It's just like you said, he's got like a wintry kind of like feeling to his vocals on this one, and that can't really be denied alongside the the instrumentation. Sure, you could just label this as another Wham song, but with a Christmas twist, and I'd be fine with that because Wham slaps, and I don't care. And sure, lyrics are cheesy, but I don't care. It's Christmas. What do you mean? It's Christmas is just pure cheese, if we're being real here. And yeah, it just brings me a lot of nostalgia, and I love it because of that. It's my favorite Christmas song because of that.
Yeah, I chose The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole. And I think up until this point, like all of my picks have been really energetic, like happy Christmas songs. And this is like just a complete left turn from that. It's a really calm, peaceful thing. Nat King Cole's vocals are really the center point of the song. And the rest of the instrumentation just kind of floats around it very quietly. It's really nice. It's very jazzy at times, with guitar and string solos sometimes. But as I said, like the main center point is just Nat's voice. Do you call him Nat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Mr. Cole.
I say Nat. Mr. Cole.
Mr. Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of like the period after all the Christmas busyness of like the evening of Christmas Day or like the day after when everyone's just relaxing around the house. I really enjoy it. It's nice. It's the
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is the Christmas song.
It is the Christmas song. And yeah, we did it.
Mm-hmm. Ho ho ho.
No.
No.
You can't say.
So yeah, what will I just do the outro now?
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, this has been us talking about our least favorite and our favorite Christmas songs ever, and yeah, thanks so much for checking out today's episode of the Tape Podcast. David, thank you so much for coming back on. It was a pleasure having you back on
Oh,
again.
you're welcome. I took so much time out of my schedule.
It would have been great to have Louis back on as well for the reunion, but alas, that didn't happen.
Spirit.
He is in spirit.
Craig is lit.
And yep. Alright, this is gonna be this is gonna basically be the last podcast for another couple of weeks. We're gonna be taking a bit of a break just to get working on the award show and getting that all set up. We're excited to do that. And as always, our necessary links are going to be in the description to our own Album of the Year pages, the Cassette Tapes Twitter, and our own YouTube channels. And yep, this has been MickyT, Nostalgia, David, and Happy Christmas.
Peace. God bless.
Goodbye.